our asthma initially. He also, with the author of this article, he set standards of care for the management of life-threatening disorders in children, part of his career work. And we would like to welcome Dr. Shokai.
Like everybody else, I'm having to squeeze everything in along with work as well. So.
Take a few minutes to drink water and coffee while Dr. Shokai prepares for his presentation.
Getting ready for the presentation coming in. You don't have any tickets for the raffle. We're going to raffle up a nebulizer machine.
Good morning. I'm happy to see everybody here. I'm not really an expert in asthma in the sense that I'm not specially trained in that, but sometimes I think it's an advantage to come in as an outsider. Can you hear me okay back there? My team at the back table there, who I will call on frequently for answers to questions. We call ourselves the best damn pediatric clinic, period. At least in Imperial County, right?
Yeah.
We see a lot of asthma. And I came here last summer, and I was just shocked at how much asthma. We estimate that 1 in 6 children in Imperial County has asthma. So if you're in a classroom of, it should be 24 or 25 kids, you can guess that there will be several who have asthma. Classes of 40 kids, somebody's probably coughing all the time. We really don't know the cause for it. We know that it runs in families. And my job is sort of to talk about pathophysiology. Now, I notice that many of you take care of adults as well, so it's often asked questions, but a lot of what I say, in fact all of it, will apply to adults as well. The difference is they have had it longer, and some of the damage from asthma that we don't often see in children crops up in adults as what's called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And COPD overlaps a lot with asthma, but I'm not going to talk about COPD. I'm not going to talk about at least the direct effects of smoking, which anybody who practices in the adult clinics knows is a very big factor in COPD. Now, I like to talk about diseases in what's called the biopsychosocial models. And it's sort of a fancy word to say that we want to integrate what goes on in a patient encounter, not only with the biology of the disease, but with the psychology or the psychosocial issues that surround that particular patient. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to review a little bit of the biology, talk about some of the psychological effects of asthma, and how we are part of a social system. Each of us has a role in the healthcare team, the healthcare system, about how we can improve children and adults who have asthma in Imperial County. So the biopsychosocial model tries to be integrative, holistic medicine, if you will, and it's asthma, I think, is a very useful paradigm for it. Can you see the slides back there? It's asthma's most common cause of school absenteeism. It accounts for a high proportion of unscheduled and scheduled visits to the ER, to urgent care clinics, and to any healthcare facility. I would say that many, sometimes in some seasons, most of the admissions to the pediatric units are triggered by some component of asthma. What makes it kind of difficult for clinicians who have to sort through a lot of patients in a hurry is that it varies with the season. We had that big dust storm a couple of days ago. I don't know what it did to your patient population, but certainly changed my voice, including the way I whether I breathe through my nose or my mouth that night. In the fall and winter, we had epidemics of RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus mimics asthma. It affects the bronchioles, and there's no way to tell from history and physical examination which is which. There are other viruses, and of course influenza is a big trigger for bronchospasm. We now have the influenza immunizations, and hopefully we'll cut down on some of that. Unfortunately, this year's immunization that contains 3 or 4 different viruses did not contain the one that came through here. By about early January, I started to notice kids with flu. And flu is different in the sense that, I'm a doc. I said, I don't need a flu vaccine. Well, then I got the flu. And I couldn't get out of bed for a couple of days. I said, oh, this is what flu is. So any of you who have this sense that we're immune to it or we're somehow superhuman, flu is a bad disease. There are some milder types, but as these immunizations improve and get cleaner, there are fewer side effects, and we match what's going around to what's in the immunization. A hospitalization, as was alluded to, is really the failure of the system, of the healthcare team. Any way you want to look at it, we have medicines that can treat patients with asthma. We have kids going to the Olympics, winning gold medals, who have asthma. There is no excuse that we have children coming into the ER or being hospitalized for asthma. This is a preventable complication. And any time it happens, it's a serious failure of our system. Now, we know that it's genetics because there's genetics involved because it seems to run in families.